This episode of Mark Who 42 Whoniverse podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/MarkWho42.
There are over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Me? I'm going with a fourth Doctor.
I'm Colin Baker, and you are listening to Mark Who 42, The Meaning of Life.
Mark Who 42, Universe.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's Universe, Doctor Who Universe, that is. I'm your host, and that sucked. Let's try that again.
No, we're keeping it.
No, we're keeping it. We're keeping it. Come on, man. You who talk about off the cuff.
Oh, you know what? 50th should have outtakes.
Well, maybe we will. I have tons of outtakes to go. Welcome to Mark Who 42's Universe. I'm your host, Mark-Baumgarten, and with me as always are...
Trish-helm.
Eduardo-m-freyre.
Christian-basel.
What was that?
Christian-basel.
I still can't understand that.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Oh.
I think what he was going for was...
Go ahead.
this corner, Christian-basel.
Oh, Christian Basel's on the show today. Oh, cool. Hey, gang, how's it going? You have a good week?
It was Valentine's Day. Of course I had a good week.
Yeah, and Valentine's Day is going to be a big part of our show today. But first, let's go to...
Companions don't kiss!
But let's go to something else first. Let's go to
the Doctor Who news with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia Helm. Patricia, what has been this Valentine's Day week news for Doctor Who?
Today is Christopher Eccleston's 50th birthday.
that would be Sunday the 16th to you folks
Yes.
out there.
I was just going to say that.
He turns 953, right?
I think, Ed, you were telling me it was somebody else's birthday today?
Yes, actually. In addition to Christopher Eccleston, it is the birthday of Jeremy Bulloch. Who's Jeremy Bulloch, you're asking? Well,
Hal the Archer from The Time Warrior.
Well, his Doctor Who connection is, yes, he's Hal the Archer from The Time Warrior, but to those of you who are nerds in other things other than Doctor Who...
There are other things than Doctor Who, Ed?
Yes.
That's amazing. I do that.
Yes, but as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, for those of you who are nerds for other things besides Doctor Who, you would know Jeremy Bulloch by his other name, Boba Fett. Yes, the Fett man himself also turns 69 today.
Now, Boba Fett, you're talking about the Boba Fett from the classic trilogy of Star
Yes,
Wars,
classic.
not that new piece of stuff.
Not the pre. We're talking about the Boba Fett that was totally badass in Empire Strikes Back, who was the only good thing to come out of the Star Wars holiday specials, and who went down like a punk in Return of the Jedi. Sorry, fans, that's what happened.
He did go down like a punk. That was
He did
terrible.
go down, and I
The
know.
thing
I
is,
know
though, if you do read, you know, his comic books, you know, he got out of there, so
Yeah, he didn't actually die.
he
Although
blasted his way out of there.
given how how Disney now is kind of trying to recreate the Star Wars universe, it's kind of looking bad for the Fett man. And hey, a little piece of trivia: Jeremy Bulloch appears out of Fett costume in Empire Strikes Back as this Imperial officer who's dragging Princess Leia away when she yells out to Luke towards the end.
Oh wow! So he got some camera time.
Yeah, he did. His face got some camera time.
FaceTime.
Yeah, based off these two birthdays, not only do we have Doctor Who, but we have the Star Wars universe. We have the Nick Cage classic Gone in 60 Seconds. We have Heroes, and hey, we have Marvel Comics because Chris Eccleston was Malachite the Accursed in Thor: The Dark World. So
We have 28 days later too.
28 days later. So there you go. See, that's one of the cool things about Who. If it's it can be an actor's birthday, but they have their claws in other pieces of nerddom. This proves how powerful Who is.
This proves that we are taking over the entire geekdom.
I'm not really sure how it proves that, but go ahead, Trish. What's our next news story?
Well, since we're talking about birthdays, but there was also a death
Oh,
this last week.
oh no.
Christopher Barry, he was a director of some episodes of Doctor Who, and he died on February 10th, age of 88.
Mm-hmm.
And he began on Doctor Who right in the beginning in 1963. And so he got to work with the first 4 Doctors. Some of the stories that he directed were the Daleks, the Rescue, the Romans, the Savages, the Power of the Daleks, the Demons, the Mutants, Robot, the Brain of Morbius, and the Creature from the Pit.
Yeah, it was his fault that there may have been more than 12 or 13 or however many Doctors there are, even though we've retconned that they were Morbius's faces in that mind wrestling thing that the Doctor and Morbius had, but they were supposed to originally have been previous versions of the Doctor, and it's all Christopher Barry's fault. But that's not a bad thing. And Christopher, we're sorry we're sorry to the family, sorry to his friends. Christopher Barry was a great director, and we will miss him. I wish he could have worked on the new series.
Mark, say what you will about the problems that scene from Brain of Morbius caused.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his work, he definitely made a footprint on Doctor
Who.
Who. He directed the first appearance of the Daleks.
He did.
One of the most iconic things about Doctor Who, in addition to the police box, it has been the Daleks.
Yeah.
You know, how many times has somebody said, "Oh yeah, aren't those little evil salt and pepper shaker things?" You know, that's Christopher Barry. He directed Robot, which gave us one of, if not the most iconic Doctor throughout the series run.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Brain of Morbius, that had an impact on the 50th anniversary.
It did.
Night of the Doctor.
It did.
Thanks to Brain of Morbius, not only did we get the snafu of could they be multiple Doctors, could they be Morbius's incarnations, we also, thanks to Brain of Morbius, got the War Doctor.
Thank you, Christopher Barry.
Yeah.
We
Rest
hope
in
you
peace.
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Vaya con Dios.
You think the new action figures for Boba Fett will have mouse ears? I'm just saying. I thought this through for a minute there. Yeah. It's a small world.
All right.
Oh,
Anywho, now here's a piece of news. This is actually more for our listeners over across the pond in England.
And we have them. Hi, jolly good day to. I don't forget that. Go ahead.
Oh, that's going in.
Oh,
That's staying in. That's
sorry,
staying in.
I know that's staying in.
That's staying in.
Staying in.
We used to have listeners across the pond just until 2 minutes ago.
Fun. Now we do not so much. No,
It was all Mark's fault. It was all Mark's fault.
Scott Burdett, make sure you got people listening. Thanks.
It was all Mark's fault.
BBC Worldwide has announced that they're going to have a marathon screening of the recovered missing episodes of The Enemy of the World and The Web of Fear.
Which are awesome.
Yep. So it's going to be 12 episodes that are 25 minutes apiece, and they're going to run them straight through. So it's about 6 hours.
Wow.
Did they decide to do this after listening to our podcast last week and hearing us gush about the Brigadier?
Yeah, it sounds like we have another bit of influence on Doctor Who again. Mark Who 42's universe. We're there.
You will listen to us.
Well, tickets went on sale on Friday, the 14th, and they were just £14 a piece, which that's pretty good for all that.
Yeah.
And following the screening, there's going to be a 45-minute Q&A session with some of the key cast members from the episodes. And it says as well as a member from the Troughton family, but it doesn't say who.
That's probably David. Probably David.
Pretty cool. Kind of wish that could go.
I bet Fraser Hines will be there. Fraser goes to all those events.
I kind of like the fact that people are just sitting around drinking tea, eating biscuits, listening to us, and having little debates about our podcast. I would love to see that conversation.
Yes, well, wonderful podcast. Yes, wonderful podcast. Yes. Oh, love that Patricia reading the news. Yes, we do. Yes, very good.
Jolly well. Yes, very well.
No, don't agree about all that hell. Don't agree about all that hatred over Melanie Bush. Yes, no, neither do I. No, yes, no. She's a wonderful one. And any other British listeners that we had just left.
Oh, they all left.
They're taking out cricket bats and they're heading to the States. We're doomed.
That's it for regular news. Now it is time for our special report on the wilderness pregnancy. Patricia, what news do you have of the wilderness pregnancy? Is it a boy or a girl?
Well, there's a rumor flying around that we might be getting Series 8 of Doctor Who earlier than we originally thought.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Out
this
in
is kind of
February.
being left up to interpretation, but Ben Wheatley, he's directing the first 2 episodes of Series 8, and he might have said something that indicated that the show could be coming back sooner. He said that this is a quote, he said, "I've got 2 more weeks shooting Doctor Who, which hopefully is going to go in July."
Is that Eastern Standard Time July, or is it British time July, which is like really August next month?
Well, it depends. It depends. Where does that fall on the international date line?
Falls hard.
I don't know. I mean, it would be awesome if it was earlier, definitely.
It would be a great if it came out on July 15th or about. That would be a great birthday present for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you listening? Are you listening, BBC? Give Mark an awesome birthday.
Yeah, let it come out either on July 12th or July 19th, and I will consider that a birthday present, BBC.
Hey, what if it came out the weekend of SuperCon?
If it came out the weekend of SuperCon, that'd be amazing.
We could do a screening right at SuperCon.
We could.
Woo.
Yeah. We could do that.
Oh, great. You buzzkilled my own birthday, which is August 20th, and that would have been my birthday if it came out in August when it was supposed to.
Crap. Okay. All right. There we go. Hey, there we go. All right, BBC, we throw the gauntlet to you. Is it going to be in July so that Mark can celebrate, or is it going to be in August so Christian can celebrate?
It's up to you, BBC.
Who do you love more? Who do you love more, Mark or Christian? Or are you going to throw a monkey wrench, have it later in September for Trish and I? Ah.
I wouldn't mind. But you know what? I don't care just as long as it gets here. But July would be awesome, but I can wait. You know, waiting seems to be what we do.
That's what we do
So-
here with Doctor Who and Sherlock. We wait.
Yeah, I like Sherlockians. Can we have it this year? Just keep it in the year.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
Matt Smith was at the New Orleans Comic Con, and
Yeah, and in fact, you know who else was at that con?
who?
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee was there, right?
The picture of Matt Smith and Stan Lee. Yeah, I think the entire internet has seen that by now, and
Yeah.
you've had massive nerd explosion.
But during the Q&A with Matt Smith, someone asked, what he would think about River coming back for some adventures with the 12th Doctor. And he doesn't want her to.
Nice.
That's what he said.
Who?
He says, "I'm really possessive over Alex." I said this to Steven. I was like, "Listen, just don't. Just not Alex. Anyone else, but don't give Capaldi River."
Oh,
but Peter's the Doctor now, so what can I do? Is what he said. And he says, "I'm really proud of the fact that Alex was part of Number 11's life. My wife," he said. So he's pretty possessive of her, but I can feel his pain, but I really want to see
He
River.
didn't have to leave the
Capaldi.
show. It was up to him. He left the show. He left the marriage. It's
And I really want to see River and Capaldi go at it. I really do.
I gotta say, this is a very twisted episode of Jerry Springer waiting to happen.
Actually not. MTV just called. They got a new celebrity death match, 12th and 11th going at it to the death. To the death.
You know, 12. That's my wife. Oh well, the same Time Lord. What's the problem with you? She's mine now. You regenerated.
Let's get ready to rumble.
They start fighting, and the lights dim, and then there's a solo spotlight, and it's the War Doctor, with his back turned. What I did in the name of peace and sanity, and I went home
heart
stag.
gets ripped out first? That's what I want to know. This is celebrity death match. I want to know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen, as Ed said, that the War Doctor's going to be standing there with the moment, presses a button, goes, "I win." And he walks out with Billy Piper. Hey.
There you go.
And Alex
Get
Kingston
River.
No.
He gets Alex Kingston and Billy Piper.
There you go.
He rules.
And then they drive off in the motorcycle driven by Jenna Coleman.
Does this happen a lot in the future?
used to it.
This is our last news item, and
Okay.
it's kind of a spoiler, so you might want to throw the spoiler alert on.
All right, here we go. It costs money. I'm so glad we have a new sponsor. You know,
I'm not.
it's
Didn't hear a spoiler.
So it's been rumored that because the opening show of the 8th season is going to be a Victorian episode, it's been rumored that we're going to see the return of the clockwork droids, which, you know, those were from The Girl in the Fireplace.
Yeah.
It's all the way pretty far back. But there's not very much evidence to support this. There was one actor on his credits list.
Mhm.
It lists him as playing a restaurant droid, but that could mean so much. You know, I mean, people are really reading a lot into this.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you really can say. I don't know. People seem to be reaching as far as I'm concerned with this.
Well, who says?
But-
Who says? That's the thing. Who says that has to be Victorian?
Yeah, I don't know.
Could just be at the end of the episode. Claire and the 12th Doctor stop by someplace for a bite to eat.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, you know, a lot of people are just writing it off, saying, you know, I don't believe it's going to be that way. So, who knows?
I don't buy that one either.
I don't either. But then there's a minor character who is definitely returning, and he was actually spotted on the set. And that the actor,
Tom?
no.
Oh.
The actor is Paul Hickey, and he first appeared in Vostra Investigates, one of the Snowman minisodes.
Uh-huh.
And he was first uncredited, but now it seems that he has more of a role in Series 8. And according to his credits online, he's being called Inspector Gregson, which, if you know anything about Sherlock, there, you know, it seems like is Moffat doing a little nod to Sherlock, because there was an Inspector Gregson in the Sherlock books.
Well, wasn't it implied in The Snowmen that some of Sherlock's adventures may have been inspired by Madame Vostra?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's not necessarily a Hulock thing.
Yes. So
of course, this is
who knows?
to me, when I heard that somebody, minor character was coming back for the Victorian episode, for a minute I thought it was the guy who kept fainting in The Crimson Horror. Let's bring fainting guy back.
Give him credit.
Yeah. Well, that is
That
all the
man's sugar.
news. There's not much going on. We're still just in the waiting period, so
Still in the first trimester of the wilderness pregnancy.
Still trying to deal with, those midnight cravings and the morning sickness and wild mood swings.
Are we going to have that office betting pool and when the baby's going to get delivered?
Well, we've kind of set that up.
Yeah, we've kind of set that up. We've kind of set that up with the, with the stakes being that whoever's birthday is closer gets to brag and gets to feel that the BBC.
Speaking of getting money for this show, we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Yep, he went there.
The voice of Christian-basel, take one.
Hi, I'm Christian-basel, and I would like to provide my voice for all your voiceover needs, such as...
Okay, like an announcer.
Like a what?
Like an announcer.
For all your voiceover needs, such as animation, radio, announcements, introductions...
Now an old man.
I can even record voicemail for all the Meshuggahs that call you.
A pirate.
Arr, and it won't cost you a lot of treasure for me services. Arr.
Creepy movie voice.
Just call 407-761-2679. 407-761-2679. Or email voiceofchristianbasel@yahoo.com. Well, how was that?
That's a wrap.
2012 marks the 30th anniversary for Masters of the Universe. We here at the GCRN are celebrating with a brand new series of podcasts. The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of every MOTU cartoon. Yes, even that crappy New Adventure stuff. Join Optimus Solo and TF2 Mike as they tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally masters of Grayskull. You can find the Pogs podcasts in iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Good journey!
Hi, I'm #1 New York Times bestselling author Tony Lee, and you're listening to Marku 42.
And we're back with more of Marku 42's universe. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me, of course, are Trish-helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. Now,
let's get ready to podcast!
yes, let's get ready.
Grandpa?
We've got our main attraction now, and we're going to use our main attraction. Trish, go ahead.
Main attraction.
All right, your main
Oh my
attraction.
gosh.
It is Valentine's. I have to be diplomatic here. Okay. So
I see what you did there.
I see what everyone did there. Go ahead.
Well, since it was Valentine's Day the other day, I thought, why not do a show where we each pick our favorite character or companion or whoever from all 50 years of Doctor Who.
The character that we love.
Yes, the one we love. Just as long as it's not one of the Doctors, because we basically all love the Doctors, and it would make it just another episode about, one of the Doctors. So let's just all pick one of the companions or villains or whoever that we just absolutely love and talk about that. So who wants to go first?
I say ladies first.
Oh, you're making
go, Mark.
your woman do everything, aren't you?
No, lady. I'm being a gentleman. A gentleman always makes the lady go first.
Yes.
She went first. She introduced us.
Isn't it funny how being a gentleman can also be just trying to cop out on?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking there.
But anyway, I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
So I picked, I'm the newbie, so I went with someone from New Who. I went with Donna-Noble. She's my favorite companion and my favorite character. I've talked about it before, but the very first episode of Doctor Who I ever saw was the Runaway Bride, and she was actually the first person I saw on the screen. I saw her, in the wedding dress, and basically given the Doctor crap. I had no idea, what was going on. I had recognized her because some friends had posted clips from the Catherine-Tate show, like on Facebook, and so I had seen some of her stuff, and I thought she was really funny. And then I saw David Tennant, and I recognized him from Harry Potter, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And so I just, decided to watch the episode, and I really liked the episode, and I just thought she was, really awesome, and I loved how she kept giving him crap, and he just, acted like he didn't know what to do with her. But the way she acted, she was really funny, but you could see the kind of their underlying sadness about her, and how she just really wanted to belong and to be loved. And, I can identify with that. I, felt for her, and I just felt connected to her, and she's really kind of what pulled me into investigating, more of what Doctor Who was about.
Wow.
And so I was actually kind of disappointed, well, see, I went, back, and, well, it's kind of weird. After I saw that, I actually, the 5th season of Doctor Who had just started, and so I watched that whole season. No, sixth season. Yeah. And then I went back and started from the beginning. So I watched the 6th season not knowing what was going on. And so I'm like,
that was probably confusing for you.
Very confusing. And so I watched, from Chris Eccleston on, and I didn't realize that at the end of Runaway Bride, that when he left, he didn't come back immediately and get her in the next episode. I had no idea that Martha was the next companion.
Oh.
Well,
and so you know what? A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people thought that.
Yeah, and
too,
so I was disappointed when Martha came along. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought that Donna was going to be the next, companion. And so I kind of looked it up on the internet, and I found out, oh, well, she comes in the 4th season. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. At least I know she's, coming back.
Yeah.
And, well, I just, loved that whole first Partners in Crime episode. I loved how, they kept missing each other, and then that wonderful scene when they first see each other, that silent back and forth between the two of them is it's really funny. I think it's one of the funniest moments in Doctor Who. And
I like the punchline to that. I like the punchline to that when the villain of the piece.
And when she's like, "Are we interrupting?" Yeah. Yes. And yeah, she's just, at first, a lot of people thought that she was just, too blunt and too crass. But then, right into Fires of Pompeii, you see her emotional side. that whole part at the end when she's begging the doctor to go back and just save just even one person.
Right.
You know, I cried so much in that, and then also Planet of the Ood, when she hears the Ood song. I think she just really went on to prove herself as a really great companion.
Yeah.
And she always gave the doctor, never let him get away with anything, and she, actually figured out stuff before he did. Just like in The Doctor's Daughter,
Mm-hmm.
she's the one that figured out that the war had only been going on for a week. She wasn't, she didn't think that she was smart, but she was. She was very intelligent, very smart, and also just very funny too. I think, her experience as a comedian, she just, really was able to bring a lot of humor.
Well, the doctor just wanted a mate.
Exactly. And you're not mating with me, sunshine. See, that's what also I like too, is that, she didn't want to get into the doctor's pants. She wanted to be his friend. She just wanted to, travel and see all this wonderful stuff.
Right.
And she just saw him as a streak of nothing, alien nothing. But I think one of the best moments was, after the doctor had to wipe her memory. That part was just devastating to me. I think that's, besides when 10 regenerated, I think that's the most I've ever cried in a Doctor Who episode. But I just love what the doctor, tells her mother and Wilf, where he says, this is the quote, he says, "I just want you to know there are worlds out there safe in the sky because of her, that there are people living in the light and singing songs of Donna-noble, 1,000 million light years away. They will never forget her, while she can never remember. But for one moment, one shining moment, she was the most important woman in the whole wide universe." I don't think you can say that about any other companion. But I'm sure you guys have something to say about it, though. Yes, that's why I love Donna, because she was the Doctor's equal.
Yeah.
Literally, too. She became, the Dr. Donna.
Yeah.
That's who Trish loves. I kind of went with a companion myself.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I went with, well, you'll probably be smacking your head and going, "Wow, Captain Obvious." I went with Sarah Jane.
Oh.
I mean, that for me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, Sarah Jane is the prototype. She is, when you're thinking what makes a great companion, the first thing you think of is Sarah Jane, and then you work from there. She was companion to two different doctors, 3 and 4, and she when she came in, this was the 70s. She had a little bit of the women's lib going on. There are a few episodes where she, her first episode, we were just discussing it earlier, the Time Warrior. She goes back in time to the Middle Ages, and she's not having any of the crap that the guys were giving her, about being a simple woman. I think she even takes charge and tries to help in dealing with the villain of the piece, which if I remember correctly, the other characters are like, wow, okay. In Genesis of the Daleks, she gets captured by the Daleks, sent to work in the mines, but no sooner does that happen than she tries to lead a revolt. She was a tough woman. With her and the Third Doctor, it was very much teacher student, even more like a father figure type of thing, and it even kind of rolled off into her and the Fourth Doctor, although it was a little bit more like friends, and it just continued that way. And it's interesting also that when she left the show, it was a little abrupt, but at the same time, it wasn't. I mean, we didn't have the big emotional climax, but there was a certain sense of humor about it. She didn't. She was dropped off in the wrong location, but she just picked up her stuff and walked off with just a shrug and like, "Oh, that's him for you." And it was great to have her back in the Five Doctors. Kind of wish, though, she had a different outfit, because that just God, that was horrible. And
something for riff tracks, I'll tell you that.
Oh, God. Oh, I have. Believe me, believe me, believe me.
Well, I
Believe
believe you
me. That's
because you've
that.
said
Oh,
it so
believe
many
me. That
times. I believe you.
there is something. There is going to be something in there about the outfit. Believe.
Okay.
I'm not going to let that one go, especially because it's my beloved Sarah Jane. And yeah. And speaking of which, actually, yeah. When I heard about School Reunion, I was like, oh, can it really be? I mean, are we really actually going to have Sarah Jane back? And just like 10, I was beaming and going, Sarah Jane, when she came back. I thought it was great. I thought of all the classic companions, of all the classic characters to bring back, I'm glad it was Sarah Jane. And you could also see how her time with the Doctor changed her, helped her grow. She, when it came time to investigate what was going on in the school, Sarah Jane did it of her own initiative. And you also saw that when she got her own spin-off. This time the student became the master. She was the one looking out for the Earth. She was the one trying to investigate all this weirdness. It showed that she had learned, and she fit the role. She fit the role to a T. She was perfect. She was perfect being that companion. She was perfect filling in that role. Filling in the one of just this very this young woman who's now grown into her own right, and who has taken the lessons that she's learned. The other thing I think is also that right up until the last years of her life, she was a beautiful looking woman. From the minute she came on,
Right.
but also she wasn't like, it wasn't one of these things where she was the sidekick, but she was like too pretty to be believed. It wasn't something where she wasn't just she was good looking, but she wasn't eye candy. Her looks were understated, but still, that smile, her eyes, it was just she had the looks, but she also had the brains. She had the heart. And I got to say, when I heard about her passing away, it was when I heard about Liz-Sladen dying, it was devastating, because not only did the real world lose a beautiful woman, but the Whoniverse itself lost a piece of its heart. I mean, there's nobody, I think, that can ever fill the void that opened up from losing Sarah Jane. I don't think anybody will ever reach that level. I mean, she is in a universe all her own. I mean, if there's any companion that deserves their own star in the sky, I would say Sarah Jane would come first.
Yeah, see, when I first saw School Reunion, I didn't know anything about Old Who, but I could just tell by, the Doctor's reaction to her that she must have been someone very, very special.
They had a connection that was not about, kissy kissy, I want to have your Doctor babies. They weren't friends. They were closer. They were friends, but they were closer than friends. They had a deeper bond, and it's possible to do that. You don't have to have the companion wanting to love the Doctor. They can love the Doctor.
Okay, let's pass the love stick on.
I took this topic to heart. It was Valentine's Day. We were saying the character we love. We didn't say I didn't do what you guys did and went with your favorite character. I went with the character I loved when I was younger. And it was Leah McShane's older sister I loved, Dorothy Gale, or as you may know her, Ace. Sophie-Aldred played Ace beautifully. I met Sophie. She had come down to South Florida in the 90s to do a pledge drive for Palm Beach television station WXEL 42. And I got to meet her there, and she was just as I thought she was on the show as Ace. She was lovely. Ace was an incredible character on Doctor Who. I mean, yes, Leela had come about 10 years earlier and had Janus Thorns and her knife, and, she defended the Doctor. But the Doctor, the Seventh Doctor, ended up with his own bodyguard, and that was Ace. And she had the Nitro 9 that could just blow up anything, and it was great. Ace was a character kind of a little bit like Leela as the Eliza Doolittle because the Doctor decided that he was going to teach her. He was going to educate her. And Ace had a very traumatic childhood, growing up in Perryvale. She had a bad relationship with her mother, which was dealt with in The Curse of Fenric. She had been a victim of a racist firebombing that was actually against Minisha Perkayavstva. Her friend died in that fire, and so Ace, who got really upset, and something made her burn down Gabriel Chase, an abandoned mansion that was said to be haunted by an ancient evil. And the Doctor brings her to that mansion about 100 years before, when something is going on that actually had caused her to burn it down, because it was an overall sense of evil that she had deduced in 83.
It's ironic you bring that up. I actually just watched that serial recently.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yeah. She was a troubled teen on Earth. She was expelled from school, blowing up, using her Nitro 9. She blew up an art room, called it a creative statement. Oh, it was. So she never got to do her O-levels. She didn't pass because she was expelled. And she was experimenting on her mixture of nitroglycerin and gelignite for her new batch of Nitro 9 when a time storm swept her up and transported her to Ice World. And Ice World is where Dragonfire took place. And it was, why is she there? It doesn't make sense. And, yay, we got Mel out of there. See, I don't like Mel that much. I'm glad that Mel left so that Ace could come on in. I'm not a Mel lover. I'm an Ace lover. And so, but Ace ended up there. It all had to do with Fenric. Fenric, who had been having an eternal chess game kind of relationship with the Doctor, brought her in that time storm to Ice World for him, so that the Doctor would run into her and pick her up. And it all came together in that episode that I mentioned, Curse of Fenric, that the Doctor kind of betrays Ace in that story to help win the day. The Doctor can be a not nice guy sometimes. He's not a saint. The Doctor's not a saint. And Ace forgave him because she understood afterwards why he did it. But it was kind of sad. And I just, her character was born in 1970, so her character was 3 years younger than me, and I just, she was my age. I thought she was good looking. I liked Ace. I joked to other Doctor Who fans that she was my girlfriend, and back then, it was cool. So yeah, that would be my Valentine Doctor Who would be Ace.
Very nice. I know that Eddie likes Ace too, not as much as Sarah Jane, but she's a close second.
She would have. Yeah, she would have been.
Okay,
yeah.
when you were younger, would you have married Sarah Jane? In your fantasies?
Well, See, this is the thing, though. I mean, that question is not as easy to answer because when I was around the age, of
right,
Sophie-aldred, I was,
exactly.
but no, but that's the thing. I mean, I wasn't into Doctor Who around that relative time. Like that was one of those times where I didn't have access to Doctor Who.
Gotcha.
So, I think it's unfair for me to answer that because I would have to go with, I would have to try to guess what my, 15, 14, 16-year-old self would think.
I don't think
Although
I would have went out with a 14-year-old. I'm sorry.
Well,
she was looking for a son, not a husband. Just saying. Christian, I think we're left with you.
Yeah, I think Christian probably wanted to go last because with his choice, he probably wanted to find out if the restraining order went through or not.
Yeah, did the restraining order go through, Christian?
Is it 500 or is it the 200 feet?
500 feet.
Is it 500? Darn.
I got 500 feet, but my lawyer thinks he can get to 250.
You think you can get to 250? Well, are you allowed to phone call or not even the phone calls?
I'm not allowed to talk about that now.
Okay.
Shoot.
All right. Well, you can talk to us about that person. Go ahead.
Well, this one was a toughie, and I think the question is of Doctor Who, who do you love?
Yeah.
And that opens the floodgates. I mean, is like fall in love? Is just somebody you cared about? Is it somebody that appeals to you? Is attractive? And I had to go through the whole spectrum. I was thinking the Brigadier. I was thinking, uh, I mean, and I'm encompassing the whole time. I even thought at points like Turlo, but not Turlo after Enlightenment. Turlo like before Enlightenment, when there was actually a story on him
Right.
and things like that. And I thought of Ace and Donna and all that. And then I started thinking back to the companions that got away.
Okay.
Ones that got away. And I remember dating back to of one of the only few things that came out of Delta and the Bannermen. The girl, I can't remember the name of that person, but I was thinking like she would be a great companion if Ace ever took off.
They were thinking about making her a companion before they came up with Ace.
Do you think that
she was definitely in the running?
Going back to the question, is somebody that you love on Doctor Who, and I was like that trying to narrow down the floodgates. And going back to the ideology that what about the companions that got away? And the one person I truly loved, and every once in a while I keep on hearing after the 2 episodes that she was in, she would have made a great companion. Why didn't the Doctor pick her up? Let's ditch Amy and Rory for this girl. I am loving Nasreen-Chaudhry from The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. Who was played by I think it's pronounced meera-syal. So forgive me, Meera, if I got your name wrong there.
This is why there's a restraining order.
500 to 250. I'm working on it. But she, to me, I really enjoyed her in the 2 episodes that she was in than some companions who are in there for series among series among series. Her character had so much potential for what was written and what Meera had put for Nasreen. She was something that I embodied as almost the perfect companion. She had the antagonistic view of butting heads with like Donna did with the 10th Doctor, but she didn't come off as being naggy or over the top. Right. I mean, one of the perfect scenes I've seen, she hardly says anything, is when they crash land under the earth into the Silurian city. How does she respond? She takes his suspender, snaps him, goes, "Where are we?" I mean, she's just accepting this reality that she's in right now. And I can't specifically put into too much detail why I liked her, but to me, she was the companion that got away. She would have been somebody that would have, not only by seeing those 2 episodes, but you got to see her not only develop the Doctor, but she got to develop as well. That one scene where she's standing there and she has to be the representative of Earth towards the Silurian ambassadors, and she's really not all to herself going like, I don't think I can do this. And the Doctor just simply walks over and just be magnificent. And her reaction is just priceless. I think she's somebody I love because she had so much potential, but what was written for that character in those 2 episodes, what the actor portrayed of the character in those 2 episodes, and what ultimately came out was something that I wish every companion had focally, that they could challenge the Doctor without coming, like mean, overbearing, or aggressive or possessive. They learned from the Doctor's influence to be a better person. And she was a better person within that short amount of time, within that one scene, and continued to grow. And unfortunately, she ended up with the guy she kind of liked and being locked up for a while until things cleared out on Earth. But I liked her. She's not the companion. I wouldn't say, I'm not saying that she's not a beautiful woman, but I don't think they hired her because she was sexy, but she is beautiful. And we weren't looking like, oh, she's got nice legs and stuff like that. She is a beautiful woman, but not only was she beautiful on the outside, but she brought it out on the inside as well, and enforced it in Nasreen and made it a package to where I was saying to myself and quite a few others after the episode, why didn't she stay in the TARDIS?
That's beautiful, Christian. Yeah. That's beautiful. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. Okay.
Now we'll take all 4 companions and celebrity deathmatch.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
12th Doctor's next companion.
Yeah, see that wouldn't be fair because Sarah Jane would have K9 at her side, and Ace would cheat by grabbing Nitro 9.
Okay, Nasreen has the whole Silurian army, so
There you go.
she just has to wake up.
Well, you guys, I think that everyone did a great job on that, guys. You all did wonderfully on that. Another Valentine's Day, another show, right?
Yes.
We had that lovely show last year that Ed forced us to do, if I remember correctly.
Well, it wasn't forced. It was Trish and I. Trish and I did it, and I think you manned the soundboards, but you had
I
laryngitis.
wasn't there. I wasn't there. This is the first Valentine show that I was actually talking.
Yeah.
I was listening.
You just told me, hey, I got a sore throat, so it's just you and Trish.
Yeah, okay, all right. Trying to say something there, and it just doesn't come out right. But you know what does come right? Guys, before we go to break, I want to talk to you, the listeners of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse podcast. Now, Audible.com is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. They've got great audiobooks there, including Doctor Who. I mean, they have Doctor Who 11 Doctors, 11 Stories Unabridged by Neil Gaiman, Marge Sedgwick, and others. We had reviewed their show before, didn't we? We reviewed that book before, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did, Christian. They also have stories that are read by David Tennant, like Doctor Who The Stone Rose by Jacqueline Rayner. They've got Shada, Doctor Who's Lost Adventure, unabridged, written by Douglas Adams and Gareth Roberts, narrated by Lalla Ward. And they even have, and I know we reviewed this one about a year ago, Doctor Who The Angel's Kiss by Melody Malone, narrated by Alex Kingston herself. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/markwho42. Again, that's audibletrial.com/markwho42 for your free audiobook. Guys, we had a great show, and we got more coming ahead. We will be right back, and we will enter Christian's Corner.
This is Ian McNeice, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, GeekCastRadio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on GeekCastRadio.com.
Welcome to a collaboration between the Geekcast Radio Network and the Pop Culture Network. This is From the Command Center, the podcast. I am your host, TFG and Mike from the GCRN, and joining me is Zordon himself. Scotty Cash.
That's right, Scotty Cash from the Pop Culture Network, and today we're introducing you to the audio version of From the Command Center, the podcast that will entail our intake on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the episodes, the seasons, and all that other good stuff.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisher-Becker. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we shall begin. Here we are at Christian's Corner.
I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me are Trish-helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. And as you can hear from this music, we are in Christian's Corner. Thank you, Simon.
It's a beautiful
I think Simon, we'll just have Simon, next episode we'll have Simon read the phone book and that's it. That'll be in the end of it. He's got a cool voice.
So we're still in your corner, Christian. You're still doing the same corner. We're in the same corner you've been in for weeks.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Do they have medication for that?
Oh no.
Prescription needed. Yes. Well, welcome back to the corner, everybody. The same questions come up over and over again. We'll get to everybody. We got a lot of responses. The question was to ask us a question, any individual Mark Who 42er. Is that what we could call each other?
42vians. Mark Who 42vians.
We need to get that branded and copyrighted real fast.
We will.
I know. Take that out of the budget somewhere. I think I have a couple bucks lying. Anyway, we're gonna
quarter.
And you're richer than me. We're gonna start the question off with Niles-J-Perry. who runs a Facebook site called Goofy Who.
Goofy Who, Goofy Who, woo woo, Goofy Who.
I like that
And
one.
now you got fanfare.
Yeah.
There you go. And an introduction maybe in the future. But if you haven't seen Goofy Who, it is very unique and very cute. Check it out. It's on Facebook. Goofy, yes, just like the Disney character Goofy. Goofy
Well,
Who.
we've already Trish and I have already proven Goofy loves the sonic screwdriver.
We should
We've got
repost that picture.
We've got pictures. We've got pictures.
I think you should post that on Goofy Who. Actually,
I may actually track it down and post it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I may track that
I
down
think
and
Niles
post
and Sammy would like that.
So what's Niles' question?
Niles' question says, should there be a proper Doctor Who movie?
Yes.
And gotta get the whole question in.
Let him finish the whole question.
It's like Family
Now,
Feud. We
boy,
just buzz
now.
in like halfway through the question. He's got a few questions. Should there be a proper Doctor Who movie, and who should be the Doctor or Doctors? Goofy Who fans would like to know. So let's start it off with Ed.
Okay, well, first of all, I think we got the answer right here. We did cover this question before.
We did,
about
actually.
a Doctor Who movie. But to reiterate, if there is going to be a proper movie, the choices are pretty much go with either the current Doctor, and you have it take place in between seasons. Do like maybe an Unbound adventure where you maybe have somebody who is like the 12th Doctor but is not Peter Capaldi. And you do it so that way you don't have to worry about continuity or anything like that. Or do a flashback and have it be the 8th Doctor or, the War Doctor or something.
The Time War. We definitely should have a Time War movie.
Yeah, we did cover that. My answer would be, my answer would still be what I gave before, which is I think the best thing probably would either be a flashback film featuring a previous Doctor or an Unbound one, so you don't have to worry about continuity or screwing something up.
Mm-hmm.
So my answer's pretty much not changed from the last time we covered it. But yeah, we did cover it earlier. I think wasn't that one of the first Christian's Corner questions we
discussed it a while back.
Yes, we have discussed that. Yeah.
But Niles, just listen to our show more, and maybe you won't ask repeat questions like that.
Where were you going with that?
No.
Yeah.
Niles, we love Goofy Who, and yes, we totally think there should be a Doctor Who movie. And like it's
not American made.
Not American made. No.
Because I mean, when I think of what the studios would do, I get scared. I'm like, oh God.
And I think the Time War would be a perfect place to have a movie because John Hurt is box office gold. You'd get people in there who aren't Doctor Who fans, and that would be the way.
I even had like a couple of ideas for like War Doctor stories.
Oh.
I mean, hey, if anybody needs if anybody wants, anybody needs a writer, to come up with an idea, yo, I'm here.
He is there. I'm
here.
not
contact the
denying
podcast.
That. He is there, folks.
Contact the podcast. Contact the podcast. Tell me, tell me how you want to submit it. I'll turn something out.
Okay. Thank you, Niles.
Our next question comes from Matt. And I'm going to butcher the heck out of this last name. I'm so sorry, Matt. So, Dobrowolski.
He's a tessellator.
He's a tessellator. Nice. If you could go back and visit a place or event in history, where would you go, Trish?
Oh, this will play into my other fandom. I would go back to the opening day of Disneyland.
Hey.
Oh my.
Would you be there for Walt's speech?
Yes. I'd be in the background. You could probably find me in the pictures. Yeah. That or just at some point where I could meet Walt Disney. I think that would be cool.
Wow.
That would be my thing.
As befitting, the creative acting type that I am, I think I would love to go back in time and just be in the room and watch the creation of stuff like, I don't know, like maybe be in the room as Lucas is creating the original Star Wars, or Lorne Michaels hammering out what would become the first iteration of Saturday Night Live, or even going back to like turn of the century and seeing George Méliès work on Journey to the Moon, or oh God, this would be, I would simply just this would be like a time travel dream. Go back to like the late 60s or so and, watch Jim Henson, create some of his most iconic characters.
I think I would go back to Columbus's ships, so when they land in the New World, I can say, you guys are morons. This isn't America. And even if it was, the Vikings were here before you, so you lose. That's what I would
great. Yeah, so basically you'd create a huge time storm paradox
thing.
I
would.
Great.
And then Ace would and then that storm would take Ace to the ice world, and then I could marry her.
Great. So hey, you heard it here, folks. Our showrunner wants to mess with time and space.
Yes, God. And thanks to the Tesla, I finally get my chance.
Geez, what are you, a DC Comics villain? You're like a DC Comics villain. You want to create another one of those crisis events.
Call me Jasper.
No, he's Marvel.
I know,
he's
but
Marvel,
still
Mark.
call me Jasper.
He's Marvel, Mark.
I'm just going with continuity, folks. That's all.
He's not going with
Give me that. Marku 42 continuity. Okay.
Christian, where would you go?
I go back and stop Mark from preventing him from doing that. I think that's where I would go.
Nice.
I'd go, Mark, what the hell are you doing, man? Come on, man. 100 years from now, Colorado's going to smoke it up, so we got to let them in.
100 years. Okay.
Cristobal.
We totally changed time. We changed the time stream. Very good. We changed the time stream.
Well, it's already growing over there. Might as well just run.
It's 1582 right now. That's what year it is now, thanks to my change in history. Thank you.
1582 that Colorado gets to smoke marijuana.
We've changed history.
Oh, God. This is bad question to ask.
Mark
bad
42.
question to ask. Great. Two of the hosts have win the time stream. That's great. Wonderful.
Hey, he's trying to change it. I'm trying to prevent it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in preventing it, you screwed up time, so Colorado gets marijuana. How many centuries earlier?
Hey, people have been smoking marijuana for centuries, okay? And it was not illegal for a long time.
So,
you look at it, it was actually a major cash crop for a while.
It was a major cash crop.
And
it is now again.
And it's now it is in some states.
In 1582. That's what year it is. We changed the world. Marku 42.
If the universe hasn't imploded, we're up to the next question.
So wouldn't it be funny right now if all of a sudden the podcast started to fade away because we...
I don't know what you're talking
about. Our next question and 2 entries from our friend Jay Stormageddon Ubi.
Disney.
I don't think his name.
No,
but anyway,
but he's a cast member at the Walt Disney World Resort.
Okay.
Anyway.
Would you like to see the War Doctor's life explored more, and if so, which medium should it be? Comics, novel, audio adventures, and why? He actually answers his own question. My answer to my question is yes. I'd like to know what he did during the Time War. I think it would be better suited to a collection of short stories like the Short Trip series, and we'll start this off with Mark.
Well, I agree with you, Jay. We mentioned that we think the movie should. I think the movie should be the Time War, but a series of short stories would work, like the one they're doing now for the Trenzalore story, the 4 short stories in one book that they're releasing on ebook in about a week or 2. I think that would be the best way to do it if you weren't going to do a movie.
I'd have to agree on that. I do like the idea of a movie about the Time War, just like everybody else has been saying. But yeah, those short stories would work. I know people are, big fans of the audios and stuff. I haven't really listened to very many of them. So, I mean, that could work too, but I don't know. I think anything to do with the Time War would be fun.
I would say all of the suggestions that Jay brought out, all of them would work. If I had to choose one, I would say go with a book of short stories. That would also mean you don't have to worry about what's John Hurt's schedule, and also poor John Hurt also wouldn't have to exert himself by being the main character throughout all this. The second choice I would do, for those who, it just wouldn't be a War Doctor story without hearing Hurt's voice, is to go with audios, the Chronicles of the War Doctor.
Yeah.
And having, imagine it starting with You know, like I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of that monologue that the War Doctor does in Day
Right.
of the Doctor as he's walking off with the moment. You know, the Time Lords of Gallifrey, the Daleks of Skaro, I serve notice. You know, like just imagine him. You know,
Yeah, that
imagine
would be
an audio
cool.
starting
That would
off
be
with
amazing.
him narrating. You know, just him. You know, just him going. You know, I used to be a doctor, but no more.
I kind of like that. I would add even on to that. I would ask if John wanted to. First of all, what is he up to? I think if he wanted to do a whole series spin-off on just the Time War and the War Doctor, and he's good and able to do it, by all means, go for it. Audio adventures, something similar to like what Paul McGann. He only had one episode, one movie, and they flushed him out with Big Finish audios, comic books, short trips, everything. So I would love to see the War Doctor fleshed out even more, as much as possible.
You know, I've spoken to Trish about this. I've spoken with friends of mine about this. You know, the War Doctor, there's just so much to the story. I especially think, you know, the reason that the War Doctor was put into a forgotten corner of the Doctor's mind and history, is it just because he pushed the button for the moment? You know, what else about his time? You know, what else about his time are we missing? You know, one of the things I noticed, he didn't have a companion. Is that a conscious choice? Did he feel that where his life was going, he didn't deserve to have a companion? You know, looking at Day of the Doctor again, you know, the general's reaction to having the Doctor running around, he was like, oh crap, him. You know, that tells me he didn't work with the Time Lords. Was he some sort of third faction? You know, was he screwing up the plans for both sides? You know, those are questions that can be answered. We got potential here. You know,
I think the emotional run of the story would have been different if the general did say, "Oh crap."
But that was the inference. You know, it was.
Okay, and I think tagging piggybacking what you just said. Yeah, was that a conscious decision because he lost Cass, or did he have a companion? We don't know. We just seen the beginning and before and after, just like we saw McGann's Doctor. Did he have companions along the way, or did he have something that may have not been like a companion, but somebody maybe just following around because he had no choice, like the soldier who had the gun? You know, soldier, give me your weapon, and just what kind of emotional response did everything, that losing Cass, how much of that really just sunk into him, like, I'm not going to have another companion. I'm done. This is it. I've screwed up and I got one killed.
Or the fact that he was going from doctor to warrior. Did he just say, this is not the, you know, I don't have time to be a teacher. You know, I don't have time to be a teacher. I don't have time to be a father. Was he maybe thinking about, I've lost Cast, I've lost Sarah Kingdom, I've lost Adric, you know, no more. No more loss.
I like that. I think that should be a button. Just like the button from Staples. That was easy. Go, no more.
No more.
Your boss walks in and says, "Can you do more work?" No more.
No more. No, but see, you have to do it with the dramatic.
Right.
Yeah. You can't just say no more. You go, no. You have to have that look on your face and go, no more.
I can't do it in John Hurt's voice. That was just no more.
No more. Well, as long as you have that deep voice that says, you know, please stop. You know, that'll work. You know.
What else is hiding in our little corner here, Christian?
Yeah.
Well, we have a question from our good friend and at one point a show sitter, Megan Laughlin.
Hey, Megan. How the wills?
Who I think, if I'm not mistaken, Trish co-runs or runs the Heart.
Yeah,
I Heart Doctor Who.
Yeah, I co-run that as well.
Oh.
I co-run that. Yeah, we're Trish and I. We go with Megan and Kim, and you know we Megan, Kim, Dre. You know we all run that.
Do you post our podcast on their page?
Yeah, we do.
That sounds great.
We post the podcast. We post some of the pictures from the podcast. I mean, hey, and people.
It's a group on Facebook. If you want to join, just look for We Heart Doctor Who.
Yep.
And you can catch Megan on there. She's always doing trivia contests. So if you want to get the gears grinding about, you know, trying to keep your Doctor Who trivia up, go for it.
I've won some of those trivia contests.
Yeah, good for you.
What'd you get?
Yeah, what'd you win?
Applause and a clip from regarding, you know, a clip that has to do with whoever was the subject of the quiz.
Anyway, Megan says, what is your favorite Fourth Doctor story? I got to hear Ed start this one off.
Oh God. Well, first of all, Megan, thanks for sending that in. Secondly, congratulations. It's now like, this is like, for me, this is like a Sophie's Choice kind of thing. It's like I have to choose one. But yeah, I don't have like that one single Fourth Doctor story. I love the era, but if I had to go with, if I can just cheat a bit and do like a handful, Genesis.
Actually, let me change her question a bit there. Let's see if this will make a difference.
Okay.
All of Tom Baker's series as Doctor Who is sitting on a shelf in a building that's burning. You only get to rescue one episode from everything being destroyed forever. Which episode would you run in and save?
Ah, crap! Okay, see, that does not help.
While he's thinking about that, I'll give my answer.
There you go.
I'll give my answer while you're thinking.
While he's running into the building.
I would save the Sontaran Experiment because it was the first story I ever saw, and it's my first Doctor Who. So it may not be my quote favorite, but it's the one I'd save. It's the one that got me into Doctor Who. I do love Tom Baker on the audio plays that Big Finish is doing. The Antimatter is a great story. The Brain of Morbius, Deadly Assassin, excellent Fourth Doctor stories. But the one I'd save would probably be Sontaran Experiment, if only for memories.
Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
Yeah. Well, no, that was Revenge of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
What? Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah.
That was Revenge of the Cybermen. Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
Yeah, no, that Sontaran Experiment, we had Sarah Jane being held captive and having her fears brought to life, which is apparently snakes and getting smothered in cookie dough.
And Harry falls down quarries.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, now that Mark's I've had a chance to think, but yeah, if I had to save one, just one, I mean, it would pain me, because there are a bunch that would be lost. But if I had to choose one, I would pick Deadly Assassin. Excellent story, and just for what it contributes to the makeup and mythology of Doctor Who,
right?
It should be saved. It should not go up in flames. We have our first real big clear look at Gallifrey. We have some stuff that gets set in stone about Time Lords, like how they can only have 13 regenerations. We have a very scary incarnation of the Master. We have a very psychedelic and scary time in the Matrix. I would save that. And again, I would save it, but I mean, I would be heartbroken at the fact that we lose Genesis, the Daleks, the Pirate Planet, Logopolis, Keeper of Traken, Face of Evil. There are just so many stories. The Fourth Doctor era was just such an excellent era, defining era of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It may sound a little biased, but it's just look at all the great stories that came out of it.
When I was a bit younger, watching the Deadly Assassin for the first time, I was really messed up by the Matrix. All the scenes in the clown in the sand.
Trish got mad at me about the clown because I told her about Deadly Assassin, and she's watching it and she goes, "You didn't tell me about the clown." Like I'd actually Trish, my bad. I got to admit I forgot about the clown.
You don't like clowns?
No.
She is not a fan of clowns.
The scene where he gets his foot stuck in the railroad track, I mean, all that. Him getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's the first time ever he's gotten shot with something that made him bleed. Am I not mistaken on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Not to mention the fact there's the cliffhanger that made Mary Whitehouse throw a fit.
I haven't seen very many of the Fourth Doctor. Can I pick the 50th anniversary?
Yes,
the
you
curator?
can.
Wow.
That's the one I would. That's the one I would save. That's the one I would save. Hey, he's in there.
We'll kind of sort of count that. He shows up as the Fourth Doctor in archive footage, and then we have him as a curator, which may or may not be the Fourth Doctor. That's still up in the air, but yeah,
I'll allow that.
Of course. Trish, if you also want to go for another easy answer, just pick Pyramid of Mars. That was the one that we saw together when we watched the Doctors Revisited. See,
True, but
that's another one.
I don't know if it's my favorite though.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't seen enough of them to pick a favorite.
Right. I completely understand that.
This one was a toughie, yeah, Ed. I would stay in there in the burning, watching everything burn. I was like, okay, maybe that one, no, that. By that time, the whole building would have gone up. So if I had to save one, I actually went for funny, and I actually thought about this a little bit more. What episode would I want to introduce people if I wanted to show people what a great series that Tom Baker had? And I would have picked the Rebus Operation, Key to Time.
Oh, the Rebus Operation. Excellent.
I actually got to, I have to admit, that image you sent me. So have you ever, Christian, have you ever seen the movie The Name of the Rose with Sean Connery?
I have not, unfortunately.
Okay, well, no, it's kind of a murder mystery set in a monastery during like the Reformation.
Oh, is that the one where the monks are being poisoned by the book?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's a scene at the end. Yeah, there's a scene at the end where the hidden library is burning, and Sean Connery is just his character's gathering up all these rare books, and you could just see the look on his face. He's trying to save everything he can, and just everything's burning down. He's looking for a way out, and he has this look on his face like, "Oh, did I just do the wrong thing?" Like when he appears and when he appears later, having survived the fire, and he has like all these books that he just barely saved. Just the look on his face, like, "Okay, I made it out alive." I mean, I would be Sean Connery. I'd be like gathering up master tapes and like just trying to save as many as I can as I like desperately try to find a way out.
Sean Connery.
Well, guys, I think that's about all the time we have for today's show.
Yeah, no.
We've done it. We've passed the hour mark. We're running on borrowed time here.
But hey,
people can listen to us forever, but we just don't
actually
want to do it.
before we leave, actually, Christian, if you don't mind me borrowing the corner for a second. We have been doing Christian's Corner. We've been doing audience sending in questions to us. However, if anybody notices, we've been recording episode 48.
This is episode 48.
Which means in 2 episodes' time, we're going to be having our 50th episode.
Ooh.
So in the spirit of that, Christian, if I can borrow the corner, if nobody minds us tabling audience to host questions for a little bit, okay. I have a question to the audience. Since we're approaching our 50th episode, the question to you, the audience, which, by the way, we're going to read as many responses as come in as we can. But for our 50th episode, we want to know, we'll be talking about our own favorite moments from the 50 episodes we've done so far. But we want to know, audience, what is your favorite things about the first 50 episodes of Mark Who 42? What is your favorite episode? What is your favorite...
Oh, is this do we get to take a drink at this point? The entire show we going to be drinking?
Hey, it's going to be a celebration of 50 episods.
And it's a celebration of ourselves, so we
so I mean, yeah, we could be drinking while broadcasting. I don't know how that's going to come out, but
yeah, might not come out.
Exactly. I mean, it could be going. You want to see my Sonic? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the question to the audience again is, what is your favorite thing about the first 50 episodes of Mark Who 42?
Now, does it have to be about the show, or can it be about our webpage or Facebook page?
It can be. See, again, notice what I said. I said favorite thing. It could be, if you have a favorite episode, what is your favorite episode? If you have a favorite moment from an episode, what is your favorite moment? If your favorite moment is, I got to meet Trish and Ed at SuperCon. Okay, that's your favorite moment. If your favorite moment is getting interviewed by Christian at Hurricane Who, that's your favorite moment. If your favorite thing is one of the memes that Christian posted, that can be your favorite. If your favorite thing is that album that I did that's all about celebrating Tom Baker's birthday, that can be your favorite. The point is, we want to hear from you, the audience. What are your favorite things? What are your favorite things up until now about Mark Who 42? Let us know. And our 50th episode, we will be running down the list till the timer runs out. So, you have now 2 episodes to get that in.
Go for it, folks.
You've got at least 2 weeks, so go for it. We want to hear from you. What are your favorite things? Okay, we're gonna have a party, and you are all invited. Okay,
wow.
Drinks will be served. We'll have
wow.
Drinks will
Do
be
we have
served.
that in the budget?
Hors d'oeuvres.
Maybe.
Well, I think if we all bring something,
if we bring our own.
Somebody handles the drinks. I know where we can get some party platters. Come on, jeez,
Yeah. That's all the time we have for today's Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. I just want to thank you all for listening. Go to our Facebook page and answer this question, Marku42's Universe. Tweet us at Marku42. Go to geekcastradio.com. Go to floridageekscene.com. Listen to us on iTunes, on Podkicker, on Stitcher Radio app. We are everywhere around the net. We're even on World of Who. We're having some technical difficulties there, but we're there, and we'll be having an ad on their page soon. That'll be cool, won't it? Any last words, guys?
Hey.
Thank you, Christopher Columbus. Thank you. Who's got snacks? I heard a party.
Don't worry. I think my last words would be, don't worry, audience. You give me a time machine, I won't screw with history. Okay, I'm not like our showrunner who will mess with history. I read DC Comics. I've been following Doctor Who. I know how you're not supposed to screw the timeline.
What did Kate Stewart say? Americans with time travel? You've seen their movie.
Exactly.
Bye, everyone.
But just in case we're wiped out of existence, thanks.
Yeah. If this is a DC style reboot, just as long as Trish and I are still together, please don't subject us to that. Oh, their characters are better single. That's a lie.
Before we're leaving now, we're going by, but we need our 12th Doctor to argue here. We always end the show with the 12th Doctor's arguing.
Yeah, he got wiped out from existence thanks to you and Columbus.
Both of them.
Yeah, we don't get the 12 Doctors because they're lost in the time stream thanks to you, Mark. I don't know, maybe we'll get them back in time for the 50th.
I'll take my time machine. I'll go back, stop myself and Christian from making things worse with Columbus, and we're back in 2014. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, the Santa Maria called. They're pissed.
What Mark did, he did in the name of, well, it wasn't peace and sanity. He did it just to be a dork.
No more.
Marku42's Hooniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel.
Marku42 Hooniverse.
This show was edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten. Please remember to rate us and listen to us on iTunes, the Stitcher Radio app, World of Who, and the Podkicker app for Android phones and tablets. And comment on our broadcast at geekcastradio.com and floridageekscene.com. Tweet us at Marku42 and check out our Facebook page, Marku42's Universe. We can be contacted by email at mark@marku42.com with the subject line, ? Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This podcast is streaming from Marku42.com. This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2014.